All right, guys, I do have Wednesday morning editorial for you. Now, I'm going to put 3 links in the description box below. I'm going to reference 2 of those stories, just reference them here, and then you can read the full story in the description box below if you want. I'm going to give you an all-out editorial here. Now, for this editorial, they were saying there was body camera footage. I'll see if it's on YouTube. Hopefully it is, and I can give you a video clip. If not, we'll get back to it. But the 2 stories, the first one, remember I did the editorial on the cop and I showed you a video clip of him going in the bar and saying, put the drink down or go to jail. And people are like, really? Because like as in California at 2 a.m., no alcohol may be served or sold after 2 a.m. Well, Columbia, South Carolina has, of course, an alcohol limit law as well at a certain time, and I guess that was the time. And the officer, remember, he walked around saying the N-word. Well, he can call me N-word. I can't say to him N-word. Well, that cop has been fired. And the reason I'm not doing an editorial on it is I did an editorial on and showed you a video clip on when he was walking around doing that. So he's been fired. That Columbia, South Carolina cop was fired for walking around saying the N-word. I guess he thought he could do it. I don't know. Again, that's and that's kind of a political thing. Is you can't do that as a police officer because the mayor gets embarrassed, your city manager gets embarrassed, the police department itself is embarrassed. Well, the N-word is like one of those hot buttons, But the second link down there, or not the second one, not in this exact order, but one of the other links that I put in the description box below is the shooting in South Los Angeles with the Sheriff's Department of Dijon Kizzee, who they were saying, and the story was that they stopped him for a bicycle violation. He jumped off the bike and ran. They took chase. He stopped, punched an officer in the face, dropped a black jacket. A handgun rolled out. And they're saying he reached for the handgun and was shot by police. I watched the protest live with West Coast Digital and Ricky Monday, and a lot of people there were saying he was shot in the back several times. Johnny 50 and Tom Zebra were at the sheriff's substation yesterday, right? And they had concertina wire and riot gear police walking around with rifles, and it's just they were waiting for an all-out protest. Tom Zebra said he got a gun pointed at him. So, but that one is in the description box below. Dijon Kizzee. I didn't do an editorial on that one because it's kind of questionable. I mean, if he reached for a handgun when they said freeze, you're going to get shot. But they're saying he was shot in the back. So were they behind him when he was reaching? I don't know. I'll let you guys read it in the description box below and make your own decisions after reading the article. Sorry, I'm talking really fast. I'm trying to be brief here. Brevity is the key. So I'm going to get to the editorial. Now, this one is another one that may be political maneuvering. I went through Google. I searched, and unable to find any story that's saying what actually happened. It's saying what the charges were, but it's not saying why this officer is being charged with assault. Again, it said in one story, I don't know if it's in this one that I'm giving you, but in one of them, CNN, I think, our beautiful, loving CNN, said that his body camera footage is what sparked prosecutors to bring charges of assault against this officer. I'll look on YouTube and see if I can find a video from his body camera. But if not, that's what they're saying, sparked assault charges on this officer. I want to know from all of you, is this another case of political maneuvering where they said we have to charge a cop? I mean, as a black man arrested by a cop, got to charge him for something. Is this a political thing with all the protests going on? Because we're seeing a lot of law enforcement officers being charged with violations now and crimes. I think we're seeing a little more than we had before. I went through 4 or 5 different news outlets, reading them, and they're all basically saying the same thing, but none of them are saying exactly what the assault charges could be. Everybody's hush-hush on this. Maybe it is a political move. Thank you to WHSV for this story. The Charlottesville Police Department says one of its officers is facing charges stemming from an incident on March 3rd. Charlottesville Police Department announced Tuesday, September 1st, that Officer Jeffrey Jaeger, or it could be Yeager, was charged with misdemeanor assault and battery. According to the department, I'll say Yeager and 2 other officers responded to a disorder in the 700 block of Prospect Avenue back in March. 2 city residents were arrested at the scene, one for drunk in public and obstruction of justice, while the other for a warrant out of another jurisdiction. The person charged with drunk in public and obstruction of justice was later found not guilty in Charlottesville General District Court on July 24th. Charlottesville Police Department says shortly after the not guilty verdict, a complaint was filed with the department concerning the actions of the 3 officers. Charlottesville Commonwealth's attorney Joe Platania asked that a full criminal investigation be completed, and the results were turned over on August 25th. 6 days later, Platania determined that probable cause existed to believe that an assault and battery occurred. Yeager has a court date scheduled for September 14th. Charlottesville Police Department says the actions of the other 2 officers named in the complaint were not criminal in nature and will be handled through the department's disciplinary procedures. The Charlottesville Police Department says it will have no further comment. And they literally have no further comment. Like I said, I went through different news outlets, news agencies, reading their stories, trying to pick out what happened, and nobody's saying what exactly happened on March 1st. There's no newspaper story of the incident. I don't know, did he punch him? Did he slap him? Did he, nobody's saying, and they say they have no further comment. All we know is that they were arrested for, one had a warrant, the other was drunk in public and obstruction of justice. He was probably going, hey, don't arrest my buddy. What are you doing? That's probably what he was doing. And he got arrested, but the charges were dropped. Now, what gets me is the incident happened in March. He was found not guilty July 24th, and July 27th, thereabout, he filed complaints on the officers. Why didn't he file complaints in March or April? Because he wanted to wait to see if he was guilty or not. When he was found not guilty, he said, now I'm going to file a complaint. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And now this officer, of course, is charged with assault and battery, and he's going to be arraigned on September 14th. And there you go. Political maneuvering, or maybe he did commit assault and battery. And I know you guys say, well, we don't have a lot to go on. You do have a little bit of facts. The guy was found not guilty of obstruction of justice and drunk in public. I mean, if he was found guilty, then we could say, well, yeah, it was a good arrest. But he was found not guilty, so maybe the officer did assault and batter him. What do you think? Of course, the complaint wasn't filed until after that. And then they found out, through his body camera footage, that he may have committed assault and battery. A lot of facts here to go on. I want to know what you guys think. You can draw an opinion from what I've given you. Community Leo Watch, watching Leos. That's law enforcement officers, literally from coast to coast, from South Los Angeles all the way up to Columbia, South Carolina, and back over, or I should say, back up to Charlottesville. Thank you, guys.